Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Punishing Grey Raven reaction. Today we have the full version mix, both the first and second phase of The Last Witness. This was requested specifically, both versions, both phases, by Dark Age in the comments of the last video, and I was like, oh, there's two versions. I looked up the official. It's only about 4 minutes long, so I guess the situation that happened here is that they only ever uploaded the first phase and not the second, so fans have uploaded a couple of versions of this mixed together. And this one that I'll be listening to is from Miralo, who admits in their description that this is kind of a rough mix and the transitions won't be perfect, so I'm not going to be judging it on that. I know that these are fan-made and I'm not expecting perfection there, but I wanted to shed light on that so people aren't like, whoa, that sounded weird, because it will. So, prepare for that as I have, and I guess without further ado, let's go! Ready to sit here for 8 minutes. And this is a lot of energy to start with. I can't imagine where it's going to go from here. Where the intensities are going to lead. Ooh. Okay, keeping some tension around. I really like that bass line, that like dun 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 rhythmic thing going. Back off a little bit. Give it some room to breathe. Some really fantastical accents with the notes that they're choosing for the piano here. There's just, it's laced in mystery, which I always love in an OST. It's got that tension in it. And those single note accents are like beckoning you forward. They're like, don't you want to know the answers? Come on over here. I liked how that synth sounded. That was a good choice there. Bring the vocals in. Come on. Make it even more mystical. Okay. Got a shift there. I don't think it was a full key change, but definitely edited the progression of the song a little bit. Different chord structure, a little different pattern there. Now we got this epic stuff being brought in a little bit. The violins. Oh! Now it's Metal Gear Solid. Let's go. great transition. That was filthy. Yeah, it's starting to get a little bit more serious. The tension is rising. The epic backbone is building. Introducing an organ. That sense of scale and power has increased tenfold as a result. Organs are way too powerful. Any character backed by an organ, I'm like, I'm not messing with you. I don't want to be around this. That's the most like, why do I hear boss music sort of sound? If you hear an organ, run. And then like this, like really soft synth, just arpeggiating through it. It's kind of clashing with the serious tone a little bit. They're like, take me seriously, but like give me a chance maybe. And now we vibing. The energy has risen. And we are now at bop status. Oh! They kept it up. I was wondering if we were going to get another, like, halftime shift to get more serious again. Apparently not. At least not yet. Maybe it'll end like that. Ooh. Ooh, that's a good synth. That's a great pattern. It's a great pulse. And these scales just going on too, like underneath everything, like just climbing constantly. These looping arpeggios are everywhere. There's the halftime. I called it. Let's go. I really like those strings in there too. That's really cool. That's a really cool addition. Those strings were neat. I can't tell if those were like actual strings or if they were like synths designed to sound like strings. That was really cool. It blended in very well. Also, I don't know what the uploader was talking about with like, I made a poor transition into the second phase. I, at least from an outside point, did not notice at all. Like that entire thing felt like I was still on the first. I never noticed a weird transition. I was kind of wondering if and when it happened. So, you know, to the uploader at least, don't be so hard on yourself. Like, I didn't notice at all. So I think for this one, based on the length, usually these longer songs, I tend to get more thoughts out during the reaction, because if I'm not saying stuff during the reaction, then it feels like I'm just sitting there listening. And while I can, of course, just do that, that's not really my thing. So I tend to yap a little bit more during the video itself. And I think I got a lot of my points out of the way. But just to recap and state some things that might be obvious, FLuoRiTe did a fantastic job with this one. I have no arguments, no complaints. And even though this was like a fan mesh of two of them, I didn't really even feel like a quality drop between the audio. So that helped a lot as well. And I was able to figure out these things that were being borrowed from the first half brought into the second, even though I really couldn't tell when that transition truly happened. I did feel that shift when like the energy picked up and it started to get more serious. And then that like dance remix energy kind of came in. I assumed that was more what the transition spot was. And I was like, okay, here we are. And I was just really enjoying the soundscape of this song. It started with some stuff that I was like, oh, this might be more serious, a little bit more epic in scale, something more cinematic. And then it kind of shifted multiple times through the song to like different energies. I thought we were going to get a little bit more dancey at one point. I thought we were going to get more serious at one point. That organ in there just transitioned into this second half, and I'm like, whoa, like, where was that going to be? And they never really brought it back. So I'm like, what was that? There are a lot of things in this song that kept making me ask questions about the story going on here. There were a lot of moments, like I mentioned, those little accents at the top on the piano in the beginning especially. I'm being dragged into the story by hearing those and going, okay, there's something over here. Like, where they're placed in the mix is kind of luring you in a direction. Like, I'm feeling like I'm being pulled up and away from like where I'm sitting, and that's a weird feeling to have, but you know that's intended to pull you in that direction, like in a literal different direction in your mind. So you're like, okay, I have to be ready for other stuff that's going to happen. It just didn't go the way I thought, and that could easily be what they were trying to do for this song in general, was like, let's make a song that brings you on an adventure, on a journey that you really aren't sure where the landing point is, where the finish line is. You just aren't fully convinced that the direction you're going to take to figure out what these questions are and the answers to them, you're not sure you're going to get them, but you have to look anyway. And every single time you get to that new point, there's another part of the song that pulls you in a different direction. You're like, oh, okay, now the genre's changing. Now the intent I'm getting from the song is different. Why did that organ exist there for a second? Why is it gone now? Why am I nervous about that? Is it coming back? What the hell was that? Like, there are so many movements in this song where I kept feeling like I was being brought down a cave maze, where like every single fork in this cave was going to bring me either to death or to the next possible fork in the road. And I didn't know what was going to happen this whole time. And of course, I'm going to feel a little bit wary listening to a song like this, because even though I was starting to feel it by the end, I feel like that might have just been like the light at the end of the proverbial tunnel, where I was like, oh, we got to dance stuff. Like, we're starting to vibe a little bit more and kind of feel a little bit more confident. That entire first half felt way too questionable. Like, I just did not have all the answers, and it was nerve-wracking. And then by the end, I'm like, oh, here we are. Hey, like, now we're chill. But God, this is such a journey of a song. It's been a minute since I've had a song that's pulled me through an entire like storyline like this one has. There have been boss themes I've listened to recently in different games and such, and those aren't bad by any means, and usually those are designed to reflect a very specific character. But this one, even though the description of this video told me that it was going to be a boss fight, didn't really feel so much like a boss fight as it did like encapsulating the entire journey you're maybe just now finishing at this boss fight in one singular piece, which, at least from my experience listening to these songs a bunch, that's pretty uncommon. Usually they just go for that traditional outlook of, let's make the character's personality reflect in the song, call it good, move on. This one had a lot more movement to it than I'm used to, so that was really good, and is now easily top 10, maybe top 5 of the FLuoRiTe songs I've heard. I've heard quite a few of FLuoRiTe songs, but this one is up there, just due to the sheer scale of this epic journey I just went on, and I'm finding it hard to figure out words to describe where my brain was that whole time. Maybe it's just because I didn't get the best sleep last night and I'm a little tired, so my brain is like extra wandery today, but I want to believe that this entire thing was intended by FLuoRiTe, because that just makes it that much cooler, so I hope that's the case. But I've yapped enough, and like I said, I am a little bit tired today, so I'm gonna call it here. Thank you all so very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and you have something else from PGR you want me to get to, by all means, drop it in the comments below, and I will do my best to get to it as always. And of course, if you just like this video and you want to follow me and support me for other stuff in the future, you know how to do all that, and I will see you all in the next video. Goodbye!